talking about, of course, the Governor Sisolak implementation of shutting down some of these bars, particularly those that don't serve food, but even bars that serve food have had to close down. Why? Because the gaming profits are a huge portion of their revenue, and the guy joining us on the line is no exception to that. I love this bar, too. This bar called Jackson's. It's awesome. I mean, I go there with my friend Chris Wynn all the time. It's a real great atmosphere. The bartenders are great. Yeah, we play some slots. We gamble. The food is awesome. But Brian Slipock, who owns Jackson's, had to shut down his bar. He made that decision, and he joins us right now on the line. Brian, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Hi, guys. It's my pleasure to be with you.
So, Brian, let's start with this. Explain to people why you decided to shut down your bar. I would imagine because the gaming revenue is a huge part of your business. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head, Brian. We don't make money on food or beverage. We focus on our gambling and our gaming, and so there's no reason for us to stay open. Financially, it would just be a loss every day that we're there.
Totally understandable. So let me ask you this, because this is I've defended Steve Sisolak a lot, but I am not defending him on this. It's my understanding, Brian, your bar didn't break any rules or regulations. People there were practicing social distancing. If OSHA came in there, they didn't say you guys were on the list. I don't understand why people like you have to suffer while you guys were abiding the law. Explain that to me, because you must be frustrated by that.
That's correct. There's been at least 5 times that we know of that we've been inspected by OSHA, and they've come in and they've checked our distancing, masks, the plexiglass between the machines, our cleaning processes, and never did we receive a notice of a violation. So for us to do what we did to keep not only our customers but our coworkers safe, we got lumped in with everybody else that did have violations. And you're right; it is very frustrating that the majority of the people or the majority of the businesses that were following the rules got lumped in with the minority that didn't, and we all got shut down.
You know, I've played at Jackson's a few times, and when you gamble $50 or $100 in the machine, typically food is free under those circumstances. So that makes perfect sense. Do you think that the governor is trying to basically direct regulars like you have at Jackson's to casinos? Do you think that that's kind of what he's trying to do?
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories over the last few days from a lot of my colleagues, and his intention, his goal, when he shut all the bars down, was to stop and slow down the spike of the COVID virus, which we all understand.
Right.
But I think you're right, because up to and including yesterday, I saw pictures from the pool at the Golden Nugget where there's, 150 people standing around, not distancing, no masks, and that's okay. But for him to come, Governor Sisolak, to come at bars saying that's going to be the cure, and not go with gyms, not go with hair salon, tattoo parlors. I think he's just coming at bars and with the intention of almost forcing people to go to the casinos. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, follow the money. I've heard a lot of people say that, the casinos, donate more money to him,
Right.
which I believe is probably true.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if this is some kind of a payback for him.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because that was going to be my next question. And by the way, if you're joining us, we're speaking with Brian Slipock. He is the owner of Jackson's Bar, a place that I frequent regularly, and I don't even drink alcohol. So I do enjoy it there. It's a great bar you got over there. So that was going to be my next question. I suspect that the reason why he decided to leave these casino bars open, it has to do with money. I mean, that has to be, it's the root of all evil, as they say, right? But do you also hold a little bit of anger towards some of your fellow bar owners that were not practicing social distancing? I would imagine here you are, you're doing it the right way, and then you learn that half of the bars out there or somewhere around there, are not doing it, going about it the right way. I would imagine you must be a little frustrated with some of those bars.
Oh, no, extremely frustrated. The situations we were running into, while we were following all the rules with the distancing and the masks and the cleanliness, is a couple would come in, and they'd come up to the bar, and we'd say, hey, I'm sorry, only one of you guys can be here playing. The other has to sit back there. And then they go, well, the bar down the street lets us do this. So now it puts me in a position if I stay with the rules and I kick them out, they go back down the street and I lose a customer, or do I bend the rules? So, yes, we were very frustrated by the bars that allowed things to happen because it put us in a bad position on our side while we were trying to police it.
Brian, how many employees do you have that are now unemployed?
We have 20 employees, 21 including myself, and the reality is I don't think I'm keeping anything secret here. The majority of them make their money off of tips. So I now have 20 employees that are not working and unemployed, with the majority of them now back on unemployment. However, they're making less on unemployment than they were, on a weekly basis with the tips. So it's a financial struggle for everybody now for my employees.
Do you know of any? Do you know of any of your employees that actually were not able to get full employment? Because there's a lot of Las Vegans and Nevadans in general who just haven't been able to get that from the government yet.
I have 3 that I know of that went. I believe the first shutdown was about 78 days, and I had 3 employees that I know of that went the 78 days without being able to get any unemployment or any help. And now we're back, today's day 3, I believe. And it's the first day that we're closed that they're able to, start trying with the unemployment again. And I don't know what they're going to have to do.
So, Brian, can you explain to people that are not in the bar industry and the gaming industry as you are, can you put a percentage on it? How much of the revenue that you make relies upon those gambling machines, those poker machines, so people can understand?
Well, you stated it earlier, Brian. We're 80 to 90% of our revenue is gambling.
I got something right today. That's good. That's a lot. That's unbelievable. 80 to 90%. And by the way, you guys have great food there. I've had the prime rib there. It's awesome.
Good food, yeah.
Yeah, and the bartenders are great. It's a very friendly atmosphere. But let's be honest, people go there to play, and it doesn't mean you have to spend $500, even though that's me because I'm a degenerate gambler. But you can go in there with $20 or $40 and have a great time, get some free drinks. But that's the reason why people go to these bars, not just to the camaraderie and being a local bar and good food. You want to play a little bit, right? You want to gamble. So even if you decided to stay open, I would imagine the place would be pretty empty, right?
Yeah, you're correct, and I believe it's still 50% occupancy inside, and I think they're really trying to push more of a either a curbside pickup or to-go thing. So being 50% occupancy inside, it would be very, very desolate in there, even if we were, full just with the amount of space that we have in the tables. It just isn't, again, it's just not financially feasible for us to do that.
Do you have any idea how many bars like yours in Clark County were shut down because of this?
Oh, I have no idea. I know a couple of my colleagues that own bars are staying open. There's a class action lawsuit that a bunch of small bars hired an attorney, and we're looking for an injunction, suing Governor Sisolak for an injunction trying to open sooner than later. So I know quite a number of them are staying open with the thought of opening by Friday. So
gotcha.
I know that's one thing that they're biting the bullet on and, paying their employees. But as far as the number, I have no idea what the number of casinos or bars are.
Understandable. So let me ask you this. What have you heard? What do you know? I know this thing just happened the other day. I get it. And I know this would be, you're just guessing at this point. When do you think you guys are going to reopen? I know it's hard to put a date on this because we want to make sure the cases don't continue to spike. That certainly has something to do with it. But do you think this could be months before you reopen again? I mean, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, first I'm going to start with the virus will still spike because the casinos being open.
Right.
They have more employees on a shift than I employ overall.
I agree. It's ridiculous.
And then and they have more customers than us, so we're still going to see spikes.
I agree, and that's not your fault.
No, and also contact tracing is so high right now.
Yeah.
If you're around, let's say you're an employer and someone gets the virus, that works for you. You have to tell every single employee that they were around person X, and they have to get their entire family tested. And so with contact tracing, it skews the positive testing rate forward.
But the bottom line is, the casinos remain open. Would you feel a little bit better about this? And I guess this would be my last question for you because we're up against a break here, Brian. Would you have felt a little bit better about this? I mean, obviously you're not going to be happy. You got to close down your bar. But if Sislek across the board just said, all right, that's it, we're shutting down all the casinos, at least all the casino bars, would that make you feel a little bit better?
Oh, absolutely. Just by picking our small little industry, which is locally, it hurt a lot more than hitting everybody across the board, including the casinos. The gaming alcoves in grocery stores are open. If you go into convenience stores, you can still have gaming in there. So
sure,
it's just hitting the bars and the bar tops. And I try to explain to everybody that bars in Las Vegas or in Nevada are not like bars in any other state.
Right.
You're not having 50 people around and huddling, looking for drinks and talking. And
right.
And,
that's important. That's important that you mention that because bars here, particularly in Las Vegas, are very unique and very different to the bars in other parts of the country. Well, Brian, let me say this, my friend. I love your bar. I hope you're able to open up soon. You got a great place over there. It's one of my favorite local spots to go to, and I do appreciate you taking some time to join us. And sorry you had to shut down, man. I'm looking forward to that prime rib down the road. All right, and making another slot machine donation to Jackson. So
I appreciate you guys having me. When we reopen, guys, the ribeye steak's on me.
Oh, that's nice of you, my man. You know what? I like my free food, so I might have to take you up on that. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian.
Thanks for coming on. That's Brian.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Brian.